Yeah, hello everyone. So in this lecture, I want to discuss about why Spring Boot and why we are using Spring Framework. So before going to the concept, so I want to explain you. So what is the problem before Spring Boot and Spring application? So let me explain you in detail. So before Spring and Spring Boot application, we have a concept called servlets and JSPs, right? So servlets and JSP, so we can create web applications by using servlets and JSPs as well. So whatever we are able to do in Spring application, so same thing like we can create web applications in servlets and JSPs as well. But the problem here is, so whenever you are creating web application by using servlets and JSPs, so we used to write business logic, persistence logic, and presentation logic. Everything will be in same place. So nothing but let me tell you one example. So presentation layer and business layer and persistence layer. So when we are used to create web application by using the servlets and JSPs, we used to write presentation layer, business layer, persistence layer, all are in the same place. Nothing but all three together tightly coupled. So presentation layer, nothing but your user interactions. So in presentation layer, you will do the user interactions, right? So let's say you are opening Flipkart application. So there you will use flipkart.com and then you can access whatever you want. So that is nothing but front end layer user interactions to communicate with all the things in your application, right? So that is nothing but presentation layer. So business layer, so here all the application related business logic will be written inside the business layer. And persistence layer, so persistence layer will connect with the database to persist your data and to retrieve your data. So all those three layers we used to write in same place in servlets. So there is no structured oriented architecture available. There is no structured oriented architecture in servlets and JSPs, all together tightly coupled. So if any problem happened in business layer, so remaining persistence layer, presentation layer, both will be affected. If any one of them having any problem, remaining three are affected whenever there is a problem in your application. So there is a lot of drawbacks while creating web applications in servlets and JSP. So to overcome that problem, Spring Boot came into picture. Spring and Spring Boot came into picture as a structure oriented layer. Nothing but, so their presentation layer will be separate, business layer will be separate, and persistence layer also will be separate. So any problem happened in business layer, there is no effect in presentation layer. If any issue happened in persistence layer, there is no effect in presentation and business layer. So Spring Framework is having structured oriented layer to develop Spring Web application. So Spring Framework is a loosely coupled framework where servlets and JSPs is a tightly coupled framework. So whatever changes, if you made anything problem in your servlet program, so remaining layers will be affected. So in Spring application, if any layer having some problem, so remaining layers will not affect each together. So that is the main advantage Spring and Spring Boot came into picture to overcome this problem. And also there is a lot of features are available in Spring and Spring Boot application. So before explaining, if you want to learn Spring Boot application, you can see here. So I will, there is a lot of concepts are there. So I will explain you in a very simple manner that you can understand very easily. So if you want to learn Spring Boot or Spring Framework, you should have some basic knowledge. Basic knowledge, nothing but let me explain you one by one. So Spring Framework is an open source framework to build a enterprise Java applications. So enterprise application, nothing but it's a structure oriented programming world. So each presentation layer, business layer, persistence layer will be independently, it can work independently. So that is nothing but enterprise Java application. So what we can do with Spring Frameworks, by using Spring Framework, we can develop web applications as well as RESTful web services and SOAP web services. So front and we can develop back end and front end frameworks like enterprise applications. So we can by using Spring Framework, we can develop web applications like small scale of applications and large scale of applications. So to learn Spring Boot application, we must need to learn following four main concepts, which are from Spring Core module. Spring Core module is backbone for Spring application or Spring Framework. So if you learn Spring Core concept, you can do anything in Spring application. You can learn very easily. If you don't have knowledge on Spring Core module, you can't do anything. If you are able, still if you are able to write the program, nothing but you are just by heading the code. So if you learn Spring Core module, learning Spring and Spring Boot is very easy. So I can explain you in simple manner. There is a concept called tightly coupled, loosely coupled, and dependency injection. Okay. So and also there is another concept called application context. If you learn these four concepts, then you can learn very easily. Spring Boot and Spring Framework, you can learn very easily if you understand these four concepts: tightly coupled, loosely coupled, dependency injection, and application context. If you want to remember what is Spring Framework, just blindly remember these four concepts: tightly coupled, loosely coupled, dependency injection, and application context. If you understand these four concepts, so remaining concepts are very easy. Okay. So let me explain you what is tightly coupled concept, what is tightly coupled programming language. Okay, so I will explain you in detail in next lecture, guys. Okay.